Will Smile from Black Film TV talking to Renée Elise Goldsberry regarding her doc, Satisfied. How are you?
I'm good, Wilson. How are you? It's always good to see you.
So it's finally coming out. I saw it last year when it played at Tribeca. And did you know it was going to come out during the 10th anniversary, or was that some time to get the right distributor and so forth?
I knew that it needed to come out by the 10th anniversary. I this kind of blessing of big screens and timed so perfectly right after I didn't know the Hamilton was going to be on the big screen again. So I there's a lot I didn't know, and it all is working just right.
It's been a great year. Obviously, we're talking today, and earlier this morning, they released the trailer for House of Dynamite.
Oh yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
there's a lot going on where obviously people are going to be wanting to talk to you because of all that's been happening. But with this documentary, at what point did you say you wanted to be on camera and tell people your story?
I was sitting in the dressing room in Hamilton, and there was an ocean of people outside that couldn't get in the building. And I felt I should record what it felt to be like inside. I thought it would be probably for people that were interested in theater. I didn't realize until we were putting the movie out on Disney Plus, and I was trying to pull the content off my phone. That I also had on those same dates a lot of family videos with really, really young children, and I realized, maybe there's a bigger story here than just talking about what it felt like to make the show. How about what it felt like to make the show and to raise a family, and to have a family. So it kind of just kept growing in a way that is, I think, wonderfully celebrated in the documentary.
People see, and obviously those who love theater and those who love Hamilton, to the inside look, but then they're also getting to know your story for those who don't know you and haven't seen your work, to see what you were going through. And that's not always easy to put on display, is to let people see as it was happening. This is not something that you are filming, and you're showing real time stuff that's happened, you know. So like, I'm sure you had to talk to your husband and says, I want to do this. Are you okay with it? So, and then
You're
talk to
right.
family members.
Yeah,
So
my
like,
children. Probably most importantly, yeah, definitely my husband and my children, because it's not just my story; it's theirs, and I needed to know that it was something they were comfortable with, and it's a hard thing to do, kind of a thing to really figure out when you're dealing with children because their opinions can change as they get older. But what I didn't see coming when it comes to this story is that they change even faster than we do, or at least it's more obvious how they change. And
mhm.
so the beauty of it, the time that it took for the movie to find this great theatrical release, they don't even recognize themselves in the movie. They look so different. So they watch the movie themselves, my children, and think they're looking at little kids. They're like, those kids are so cute. Uh, but it was important. And why did I do it? Why did I want to share such a personal journey? That actually wasn't tricky for me. It's not. I feel that our greatest value is really not in how we win awards. And talk about the roles that we play and wonderful shows. I think our greatest value really is talking about the things we've overcome or the things we are trying to overcome. And yeah, so I feel that really strongly, and I talk about that a lot. And so sharing that very personal road to motherhood is something I'm excited about doing, and I don't have any hesitation about it.
When you were working with the filmmakers, Melissa and Chris, and putting this together, how much of a hand did you have in the editing? Because obviously it's your life, and they have to find a balance of showing Hamilton stuff, personal stuff, back and forth.
Yeah, so they did a wonderful job, and they should get the credit for that. And yeah, I'm also the police. I think Hamilton it's a juggernaut. It's all of the wonderful metaphors we've used to try to understand this huge thing. And I think that your first blush with it takes a minute, I think, to put it in an appropriate perspective. And so I was just policing. I know it's new to you. but it's not new to me. It's not new to this audience. And so we were always trying to make sure that we calibrated appropriately how much this was about Hamilton and how much this was about the story to family. And so we did go back and forth, and they were, I think they did a really wonderful job of like threading that needle.
At what point did you feel comfortable once you saw the finished product? And obviously, you had to relive it again. But then you're like, okay, I'm sure you've seen it many times. And, at what point you're like, okay, now I'm good.
With when I watch it.
Yeah,
Oh
when
my
you
God.
first, you have the video, but then when you see the finished product, once it's all put together,
It's hard
there's
to
some emotions
watch.
there.
Yeah, the emotions are joyful for me because what is a testimony. It is, and a testimony, if you've ever been, I'm sure you've heard it in church many times.
Mhm.
But a testimony, it starts with a test. But if you get to give a testimony, you've passed, you've survived it, you have a lesson learned, and you want to share it with other people, and that's a celebration. So that's what this is. It's a testimony. So that part of it is, it is emotional, but like for me, when it makes me emotional, it's because of the joy of having had an experience that I've been blessed through. So what's cringy to me, it can be a bit cringy to me to watch it, just because I don't like a vanity project. And so anytime where it feels a little too, Renee, you're so great, I just can't. I get very uncomfortable with that. I try to pull back on that as much as possible. The point of this is not to celebrate me, or how, she did it. The point of this is to acknowledge the struggle and to encourage people to know, that in every battle there is risk, there is risk, and I believe they're worth it.
Mhm.
So it to me, I'll suffer through the cringe to have this great opportunity to celebrate people that do this in all professions, and all, not even just professions but just jobs. People got a lot of jobs, to celebrate people that are on that road, and also to encourage people that are just entering that season of life, and egg them on. You can do it. Ask, risk.
Mhm. And it's good timing and marketing in terms of being the 10th anniversary. In the last few weeks, obviously I've seen you at Yankee Stadium,
Yeah.
throughout the first pitch. Obviously everybody wants that. So what was that experience like
The
that for you?
scariest thing. What could be scarier than putting out this documentary of your personal life on the big screen? Throwing the opening pitch at a Yankee game. When I got that request, I was like, sure, I'll do it. You know what I mean? Like, it was just an email. Renee, will you do this? And I'm like, all right, sounds fun. It's like I hang with my friends, and I love the Yankee. This will be great.
Are you a
And then
baseball fan?
I am a baseball fan, but I'm not. Clearly, there's a lot I don't know,
Did you
because
practice? Because we see
that's what I'm
Stephen A.
trying to
Smith
tell you, Wilson. When
fumbled.
I said yes, and then I went outside with my husband, and he handed me a ball, and had a little. We all had it. We had it in the garage, and then he started backing away from me, and then back and further away, and back and further away, and then I was like, oh, that's why this request got down to me. Clearly, there were people higher on the list from Hamilton. They asked, and they were wise enough to say no. It's a trick bag to throw the opening pitch out at a game. You get one pitch,
One shot.
and yeah, you get one shot, and you don't want to throw it away. No, even the greatest pitchers in the world, they strike. They're balls, they strikes. There's sometimes there, it's a whole. You pitch a lot of, you throw a lot of balls, and it's the percentage that you're going for, right? You get one shot. I had never stood in the middle of Yankee Stadium in my life. And then you walk out, and your huge picture on the jumbotron, and Renee Elise Goldsberry, and then all the fans are screaming, and you're just like by yourself. This camera right in front of you, backing up, and then it seems like an eternity away. That the sweet guy with catcher with it. Ugh, I was just
It's
like,
all nerve wracking. Listen, when you're
I
on stage,
practiced more than I practiced for the Broadway performance of Hamilton. I
Yeah.
practiced so much I just didn't want it to bounce, Wilson.
No, you
Just
don't want
didn't
to
want it
be,
to bounce.
Stephen A. Smith was talking about it from ESPN left and right. And when he finally got the opportunity, he did it so badly. No one
Ugh,
ever forgets.
I know.
So,
I
so
just
when
said,
you do it,
they're infamous. It's Mariah Carey. It's who else is the other
Roseanne
one?
Barr, no, not no. Obviously, yeah, there's singing the anthem,
There's
and then
50
there's
Cent
throwing.
has one, 50 Cent. I mean,
Yeah,
like, it's an infamous thing. And my I was like, Lord, can it just be forgettable? Can it just I just want to get it there. So yeah, it was a triumph.
and it
It
was
made
Hamilton
it.
night,
It
and
wasn't a
then
strike, but it made it.
hey, you made it. And then you obviously not that long ago, we had Hamilton on the big screen to celebrate its 10th anniversary. You got to see it on the big screen. What was that experience like to see it years later, even though it's been on Disney Plus, but to see it on a big screen in Central Park?
Let me tell you, it was at the Delacorte Theater, newly renovated. That are the public theater. Those are the partners that helped produce Hamilton off Broadway. What that moment was also a surprise. It was getting to see it on the big screen for the first time, but what it really was we got to see the film together. I had that experience before. Jeffrey Seller also produced Rent. I got the privilege of being in the closing company of Rent. They filmed the closing company of Rent, which is why I always knew that the greatest thing we could ever do as original cast members of Hamilton was to get this to be in the movie of the staged production. So that was something I always wanted. Yeah, when Rent came out, we got to sit in a movie theater, the cast of Rent, and what we made on stage every night we got to watch, we got to receive back what we do. And I knew how that felt. And we
Mhm.
never got to do it with Hamilton. We never had a premiere. We never, came out. We forewent the big screen because it was COVID, and our show creators and producers were generous and wise enough to know that you shouldn't hoard theater in 2020. We had this thing in a vault, and we weren't gonna. We were robbed because the right thing and the only thing to do was to put it on Disney Plus right away so that everybody could have that human interaction theater, live theater, to remember who we were when we were stuck in our houses. And that was rewarded, I think, by the most perfect night. I think the choice that they made to do that was rewarded. If you were in the park that night, the weather, it was magical, the theater, the people, the combination of people that were in the house with us. And then we sat together. They sent me an email saying, how do you want to arrange your guests? And I said, I've seen this movie with my family in my basement a million times. I want to sit next to my cast members. So we were kind of clustered in the back together, and we had the time of our lives just cheering each other on. When Chris Jackson sang One Last Time, he was like two seats rows in front of us, and we were like hitting him on his back and screaming. When I sang Satisfied, I curled into the fetal position because they were just screaming, and they stood up like we just got a chance to love on each other. Pippa was sitting behind me, and I just held her hand through so much of it. Jasmine was in the other, when we were scout, we got to watch ourselves.
It
We got
was a
to
great
watch
moment.
what we made together, and it was the greatest gift.
Hey, between that and now you have your movie on the big screen, it's been a blessing of a year for you. You got House of Dynamite coming out. There's no limit to how far you can go. Obviously, that was one thing. Here's another thing. At the end of the day, what's going to get an audience to come out and see Satisfied?
Ugh, what's going to get an audience? An email? Follow me on social media. Why come out to see it? Because it's a universal story. Because the people that will be there um, understand the value of family.
Mhm.
They want to. This movie doesn't belong to me, to Lynn, to that company. It belongs to all of our families. And by family, now we learned at the Tonys, it includes the entire theater community, but it includes the world. It includes people that were 8 and 9 years old, that weren't even alive when we made it. And it includes everybody who is brave enough to go for their kind of ambitious professional dream and their dream of family. This is a celebration of one of a million stories, and it's a one in a million story.
Well said, Renee. Congrats on everything that's been happening so far. I'm always here to support. Keep it going. I know you have other people to talk to. We'll talk down the road. Have a good one.
You too, Wilson.
Bye.